Welcome to Module 3, Perfecting Your Online Presence. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to make a great profile and how to stand out in a good way, of course. Now, it is not a secret. Looks are the very first thing people notice on a dating app, but no matter what you look like, it is important to showcase your best self so you can make a great first impression and not miss out on someone who might really be a great match for you. So we're going to be talking first of all about the things that you should have on your profile. The very first thing is a close-up photo. Start with the close-up. Let men clearly see what you look like and have the light source in front of you versus behind your head. You do not want more light behind your head than in front of your face, okay? And don't pack on the makeup. Men really want to see what they're getting. A naked face is best. Show him what he'd be looking at most of the time, and then it can only get better from there. The second thing to include is a full body shot. Okay, he says, oh, she's pretty. Let's see what she looks like. You can easily do this with a tripod or a camera timer. These build trust. So many men say they do not like profiles that only have shoulder up photos, okay? This also helps you filter people out who are looking for something that you're not. And it attracts those who are genuinely, interested in you. Now, Hinge cuts off pictures, the shoes in pictures a lot because the pictures are square, but I can help you with that if you do choose to use Hinge as I suggested. The third thing, photos with a smile. People in general are drawn to warmth, but for men in particular, smiles are their kryptonite. A genuine, happy smile in your first couple of photos makes you instantly more approachable and inviting. And when I say smile, I mean show your teeth. If you need to, laugh so you can capture this real, authentic smile, the kind of smile that makes you have a twinkle in your eye. And if you have braces, don't try to hide them. It just shows that you are invested in having a great smile. Now, you might think a pout is sexy, but nothing beats a smile. So show those teeth, girls. All right, fourth thing to include is personality. Show off your personality in the written portion of your profile. Tell an interesting story, post a playful question, show your sense of humor. It makes it much easier for a guy to engage. It's really hard to make conversation when a profile is super basic and vanilla. Here's an example. You could say things like, my love language is tacos. Okay, but seriously, I'd love to discuss our love languages over a taco. Then you could put lots of laughing emojis and things like that. Take a look at the ones on the screen. These are playful things that you can say that shows, oh, she's got a little personality. Number 5, show your versatility, okay? Post pictures where you are dressed casually, others where you're dolled up, maybe you have some sporty, maybe you're off to the gym. Just capture yourself in various settings, okay? Same thing when it comes to natural look versus made up look. You want to show your versatility. The sixth thing, if the app allows it, show video. Profiles with videos get more engagement. It helps people feel your energy and really see your personality in action. The lady here, it's just a still, but hers was an actual video. I wish I had thought to screen record it. But it did a lot for her profile. It showed what she actually looks like, right? She's moving, so she's in 3D. And it's showing a passion of hers. It opens up the door for so many conversation starters. All right, another thing to show, number 7, or rather to have, is show that you have a life. Show that you have a life you enjoy. You don't want to look like you're just waiting for a man to rescue you from this boring existence. And so what you can do is show yourself out and about, having a life. Don't use a selfie for every photo and always take pictures in the same place in your house. Get out, create some fun memories, and then capture them. So I would suggest doing like 4 to 6 pictures that highlight different sides of your life, whether it be travel, you participating in hobbies, glamming up for something, going casual, being social. Show that your life is full, but not overly filtered, okay? So hopefully everyone has been taking their photos so far because you need them this week. All right. Another thing to include is asking questions in your profile. This invites conversation. You could say something like, what's one place you think everyone should visit at least once? All right, now we're going to move on to the no-nos, what you should exclude from your profile, what you should not have in there. The first one is provocative photos. Now, I understand that as women, we want to be viewed as sexy and desirable, but it's more important for him initially to come across as beautiful. You want him to see you as beautiful versus sexy, because if you are seen as sexy, he could easily put you in the for entertainment purposes only category. Okay. You don't want him to just think about getting you in bed. There's a saying, he'll either want to take you home to mom or take you to bed. You'd rather him be intrigued to get to know you as a person. Sexiness, that can come later, and there's a time and place for it. But for now, no super short dresses, no shorts that got your little cheeks hanging out. Don't have excessive cleavage showing, don't have see-through transparent stuff. And then when it comes to gestures, no sexual gestures. Don't be blowing kisses, sticking out your tongue, putting your finger in your mouth, having your leg up on something, or worse, spreading your legs apart. No provocative poses either. Don't bend over to show cleavage, as you could see one lady trying to do. Turning your back to the camera so, we can catch that derriere with the classic overhead shots. And then when it comes to your clothes, save the bikini for the beach, save the lingerie for your bedroom, okay? You want a guy to imagine you as his wife and not a sex object. So keep it classy. Besides, your photos show what type of time you're on. So if he gets to see sexy pictures of you, he better earn them. And they better be for his eyes only. All right? Sex appeal should not be your main hook, ladies. Confidence is powerful. But if you have thirst traps, this invites shallow attention. Lead with your personality and not your cleavage. All right, another thing to avoid, do not cover up. Don't use pictures where you have hats on, you're wearing sunglasses, or if this is way back in the pandemic, maybe pictures of you with masks. Try to avoid it as much as you can. And then negativity, that's the next thing to exclude. Keep your page completely positive. You don't need to list off all the things that you don't want, okay? Or outline who should not contact you. Don't use phrases like, don't waste my time, or if you're not over your ex, keep scrolling. All right. This might be how you feel, but it's going to come across as bitter. So set your standards without sounding jaded. For example, this lady actually had this on her profile. She said, I don't date men who don't have passports and have never traveled outside the country. One, this doesn't work. And two, it's a turnoff. It keeps away the good guys as well as the unqualified ones. There is always a time for that stuff to come up organically. Don't put it on your profile. So instead, say what you're looking for, not just what you're avoiding. Positivity attracts. Instead of saying no liars, say, I value honesty and open communication. All right, the next no-no is what I call Where's Waldo profiles. Don't put pictures up on your profile that you're not in. I see people's pets, beautiful landscapes, memes, whatever. If you're not in it, leave it out, okay? Now here's the opposite issue. Group photos. Do not have other women in your pictures. He might find the other woman more attractive, so don't post the competition. Worst case scenario, if you just really love the picture and you want to post it, blur out her face, the other girl, okay? Also, avoid pictures with men in them, even if it's your brother, your cousin, or your gay best friend. Men don't want to see other men in the photo. They don't know at the time what the relationship is to you. It's just not a good look. You wouldn't want to see pictures on his profile with other women, okay? And then don't do that thing where you crop the photo and you can see the guy's hand or shoulder still in it. Another thing we got to talk about, be careful when it comes to mirror selfies. Preferably, I'd say don't do any mirror selfies, but if you do, don't do what these girls are doing here. They're looking at themselves in the mirror versus looking at the camera, okay? Look at the difference between this and this. Make eye contact even in the mirror at the camera lens. That's going to make it feel like you're looking at him directly. And then don't put the phone in front of your face, all right? The next thing to make sure you omit from your page is typos. If you got sloppy grammar, it can make it feel like you rush through your profile or you're careless. So make sure it's polished, shows effort, and effort is attractive. Make sure you just proofread it before you post it or have a friend look it over, because sometimes if you're reading the same thing over and over again, your brain will fill in the gaps of any mistakes that you've made. The next no-go, old or blurry photos. Okay, I'm being generous when I say 2 years. Don't go longer than 2 years if, a photo is 2 years old. But if you drastically change your look, like you cut your hair, you dyed it, whatever, then update your photos. We don't need baby photos, even though they're cute. We don't need old high school pictures. The rule of thumb is refresh your profile regularly. Experts say update your photos and prompts every few months. Even small changes, they say, can boost your visibility in the app algorithm. And yes, there's an algorithm on the app. It's not just the order people come on. All right. Think of it this way. Your profile should grow with you. And as you evolve, so should your profile. So update it if you start a new hobby. There's a shift in your priorities, what have you. Update your profile as well. Another no-go is having deceptive angles. All this does is make a man feel like you have wasted his time or catfish them. A man's not going to get attached to a photo and then see you look nothing like the photo and be like, oh, it's okay. Okay, so if you feel self-conscious about the way you look, take a proactive approach and make the changes you need to make. And then that thing might not be an issue to you specifically, but then your lack of confidence will be, so just tackle that. The other thing is unflattering angles, which she has demonstrated for us here. Don't ever point the camera up your nose. Try to make it as straight on as possible. All right, take a look at your background. If you are going to take a picture at home, which is not that interesting, but if you do, make sure you don't have a messy background or you don't have a dirty mirror, okay? And this one might be surprising. Avoid professional photos. Unless you are a model, this is what you do. You could say, hey, this is me at work or whatever, but don't use a bunch of professional photos because it's the same thing as the filtered rule. Oftentimes they're retouched and it feels very impersonal. A guy is going to want to see what you look like. As I just mentioned, filters, just don't use them. Men say they hate them, and hate's a very strong word. They hate them. And it's very obvious when you're using them. Men don't care about the little imperfections the way we do, so it is okay to show an unfiltered photo. That's what you actually look like. Okay? Another thing that might be surprising that's a no is listing your social media. When I was on there, I thought, oh, great, they can see my other pictures because I have way more pictures on social media. But I've heard countless men say that it looks like clout chasing, basically fishing for followers. So let a guy ask, are you on Instagram? Are you on whatever? And then you can give them your handle. Don't be lazy, okay? Put as many pictures as you are allowed to put up. And if there is a minimum, do not duplicate photos to try to get to that number, okay? Don't be lazy. Another thing to omit, this is a personal opinion, your children. There are just too many weirdos out there. You don't even want to know what some people do with the images that they find online. So don't even give them the opportunity with the most precious person in your life. But if you absolutely feel like you must include them for whatever reason, like I said, with having a female friend, at least blur out their faces. All right, let me give you a couple more tips to keep in mind. Instead of listing traits in your bio like, I'm fun, smart, or loyal, use short anecdotes or playful answers like, Sundays are for hiking, or maybe if you're into football, Sundays are for NFL, overpriced coffee, and belly laughs. Skip the cliches. People say things like partner in crime, live, laugh, love. Instead, be really specific and let your unique voice come through. Let me give you an example. Instead of writing, I love to travel, be more specific and put, my favorite trip so far was the Amalfi Coast with just a backpack and a journal. Iceland is next on my list. Here's another example. Instead of writing, I'm looking for someone who can make me laugh. Instead, write, if you can make me laugh so hard I snort, we'll get along just fine. A little humor goes a long way, but don't be afraid to show depth too. The right man wants someone who can laugh and go deep. So here's an example of how to do that. You could say something like, I'm a sucker for dad jokes, deep talks at 2 a.m., and people who say what they mean. Let's skip the small talk and talk about your dream life. This opens up with humor, but then it shifts into emotional depth, signaling you are both fun and intentional. All right, here's another one, another example of balancing the two. You could say something like, I'll challenge you to a Mario Kart rematch and also ask you what you're most proud of this year. Both matter. This mixes a playful connection with a thoughtful question perfectly. It's the embodying of light but meaningful. Now, your profile should reflect your vibe. When you come across as peaceful, joyful, self-assured, you will attract people who match that energy. So make sure your profile matches the type of man you want. If you want someone kind, intentional, emotionally mature, don't write a profile dripping in sarcasm, vague, or be too cool to care energy. What you put out there sets the tone of what you invite in. Instead of saying, I'm just here to see what's out there, try saying, I'm really in a peaceful season of life and would love to meet someone who's grounded, kind, and emotionally available. This communicates self-possession and intention, and it's ideal for attracting someone who has emotional maturity and really steady energy. Instead of saying, I'm fun, loyal, and love to laugh, you could say something like, life is too short not to dance in the kitchen or laugh until your stomach hurts. Bonus points if you're down for random road trips and trying new taco spots. Now, why does this work? It radiates joyful, magnetic energy and it attracts someone who is open, playful, and adventurous. Whether it is dancing in the kitchen, having deep combos under the stars, or paddle boating at sunrise, showcase what lights you up. It gives men an emotional image of being with you. Confidence is very attractive. So say you're dating with intention, if you are, and what kind of connection you're open to. You should avoid using vague phrases like, I'm seeing where things go. And while you should be very clear, you could also leave room for some curiosity, meaning you don't have to tell your whole story. Just give them just enough to make you want to ask you for more. Mystery and depth go hand in hand. Let's say you go to church or you prefer a quiet night in or you really love the gym. Mention what genuinely reflects your rhythm so you can attract someone aligned. Do you have a quirky laugh? Do you have a super nerdy hobby? Do you have a huge heart for dogs? Share it. The right man, notice I said the right man, won't be turned off by your uniqueness. He will actually be turned toward it. Remember, you are not trying to convince, you are trying to connect. And you're not trying to attract everyone, you're trying to attract the right one. So don't oversell yourself. Be authentic and let the right person feel drawn in. You don't need everyone to like you. You need the right person to recognize your vibe and say, that's her. So stop performing and start presenting. Swipe fatigue is real. You don't need to be on every day. Feel free to take breaks, reset your energy, and come back when you feel centered and not desperate. Your profile is a mirror of your self-perception. Okay? Another thing I want you to keep in mind, don't let rejection make you dim your light. You're not for everyone, and that's a good thing. The wrong people passing on you makes space for the right ones to find you. So keep showing up as the brightest version of yourself. All right. Your dating profile is like a window into your world. It can show the real you, not a polished performance of who you think you should be, because the goal isn't to please everyone. It's to connect with someone who sees your light and says, I want to know more. By including the right things and leaving out what doesn't serve you, you're not just filling out a profile. You're setting a tone. It's a tone that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I know what I want. So take your time, have fun with it, and remember, the right person won't just swipe on your looks. They'll be drawn to your energy, your words, and your presence. During our next group, we will be reviewing everyone's profiles. So use your checklist to help you. Don't forget to read the instructions on your homework assignment as well. All right, I'll see you on the next lesson.